I read portions of Blake Lively's deposition last night with my husband, who is a licensed attorney, and he said, wow, she really destroys all her credibility, and I'm going to read it to you. For those that are interested, this is on Court Listener. It is docket number 649, attachment 3. Let's get into it. It's about 23 pages, but it skips around, so I'm just going to jump into where they actually start talking, because at the first it's all of the lawyers, telling who, for the record, is the attorneys. So let's jump into it. And I'm going to read it like an attorney who already knows they have this in the bag, because that's exactly how it reads. First things first, Ezra Hudson comes in swinging her proverbial dick around, thinking that she's going to get them in some gotcha moment. She starts, "Counsel, before we get started, can we agree that the standard stipulation under FRCP 32D3A will be applied to this case?" Attorney Friedman, "We can certainly talk about it during the break." Attorney Hudson, "Well, it's that all objections except to the form of the question are reserved for trial." Attorney Friedman, "I understand that. I'm happy to talk about it when we're off the record." "Well," Attorney Hudson says, "Well," Attorney Friedman immediately, "I don't think it's going to be an issue." Attorney Hudson, "Okay, so we can agree. Though the rule will apply." She sounds like Regina George. "So you can agree. You think you're pretty." Attorney Friedman, "We can definitely agree that we can talk about it for sure. But I want to talk to my co-counsel." Attorney Hudson, "That's the rule that I'll be functioning under for the course of the deposition, unless you disagree." Attorney Friedman, "Okay." Attorney Hudson, "And then I also wanted to know for the record that per the protective order in this case, ECF number 125, we're designating Ms. Lively's entire deposition transcript and video, including all testimony and exhibits, as confidential." How'd that work out for you? Because we're reading it right now. "We reserve the right to modify, elevate, or remove this designation within the time period set forth in the protective order. And I also want to just clarify that everyone in the room has signed the protective order." Attorney Schuster, "That's correct." Attorney Hudson, "Okay, thank you." Blake Lively, called as a witness, having been first duly sworn by Notary Public, was examined and testified as follows. Examination by Attorney Brian Friedman. Question: "Good morning. What's your full legal name?" Answer: "Blake Ellender Reynolds." Question: "And what is your date of birth?" Answer: 8/25/1987. Question: "How long have you been an actress?" Answer: 21 years. Question: "Do you recall the year you started?" A. Answer: "Professionally, 2004. Question: "You agreed to play the role of Lily Bloom, and it ends with us at the end of 2022. Is that correct?" Answer: "Yes." Question: "Prior to the time, had you heard about the book with the same title?" Answer: "Prior to agreeing?" This is where my husband was like, why wouldn't she just answer the question? Why would she ask a question to the question? Especially one that is prior to agreeing. It's either yes or no. The question. Friedman says yes. So she says yes, which we know is a lie, because we have video evidence of her talking about she hadn't read the book. She didn't know what it was. Then it skips to page 14, and it says, I'm assuming this is a question from Brian Friedman. And it starts, "About some publication, some things that are tangible, you can read them. And I'm just trying to find out if you're aware of anything that Jed Wallace has published about you that you complain about that would be a part of the smear campaign." Attorney Hudson, objection. She still has to answer the question. So that's what I asked my husband first, was like, can somebody just keep objecting, and then do they still answer the question? Yes, they still do answer the question. So she answers, "Sorry, I don't think I understand the question. The question is, are you aware of anything that Jed Wallace has published about you that you complain about that would be part of a smear campaign?" And she says, "I don't understand the question." Okay, let's keep going. Question. Here's where the attorney gets a little treating her like she's a child who is a complete idiot. In the law that the thousands of people who are witnessing this deposition practice a lot, there is a thing called libel, which is written defamation, disparagement. And then there is slander, which is oral defamation or disparagement. So I'm focusing on written. Is there anything you've seen in writing that you believe that Mr. Wallace has authored that is defamatory, disparaging, or says mean things about you? And she answers, that's happening currently? You dumb bitch. Did her lawyers not prep her at all? Like, I'm not being mean, I'm not bullying her. These are, like, your lawyer should have told you, Ezra, you should have never been answering like this. The answer is either yes or no. Question. Well, let's start with currently. Sure. Answer. Currently, I don't read news about me or go on social media about me. So personally, I don't have knowledge. No. Question. Okay. And that's as of today. And going backward in time, can you identify any written thing that you believe Mr. Wallace published about you that is defamatory, disparaging, in any way offending to you? Attorney Hudson. Objection. Answer. A specific article or no? I don't know a specific. I don't know a specific article. Question. Okay. And it could be a post, anything in writing that you can look at, like I'm looking at the screen and reading, and you're not aware of anything that he's authored that you can actually see, whether it's a post, an article, or a video, or something like that, correct? Attorney Hudson. Objection. Blake. I can't cite a specific article. My understanding from the documents I received is that he was a part of this campaign which contained a lot of content. But to be able to name one specific article, if that's what you're asking, no. Yeah. Okay. Literally. Friedman says, yeah, okay. And you were right to focus on one specific article. And I also wanted to focus on one specific author, which would be Mr. Wallace. And are you aware of any specific article that he authored himself, maybe in conjunction with others, but that he authored himself? Attorney Hudson. Objection. Answer. With his name on it? She loves answering a question with a question. You're not supposed to do that in a deposition. You're supposed to answer the fucking questions. No, I understand Mr. Wallace's work to be quite clandestine, so I'm not aware of anything that has his name on it. No. Friedman. How do you know his work is quite clandestine? Answer. This is where she fumbles over herself. Remember, the deposition transcript is word for word. This is what she says. That's how it's been described to me by everyone who knows him. That everyone who I've spoken with who knows him. So first she says, everyone who knows him, like she's claiming that everyone who knows him has said that his work is described. Everyone, and then she immediately corrects herself because she knows that's a lie. That everyone who I've spoken with who knows him, it's also what was described in the documents we received, both in the Jones work documents as well as documents in discovery. Friedman, who described him to you as quite clandestine? You said that people told you that. Who told you that? Answer, I don't know that those were the words they used. Friedman, sure. Answer, Blake, that was the general sort of descriptor, or the general idea. Attorney Hudson, and you're excluding, and then it cuts off. Attorney Hudson, objection. Answer, no, that's not what I'm saying. Let's keep reading this deposition. Just click right down here and you'll get to part 2.